Hey guys, it's Danae. Merry Christmas. Today is the final day of Vlogmas. And so I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday. Today I'm going to go through my reading wrap up for the year. I know we still have a week left, but let's be real, we're probably not going to finish a book next week. I had for my Goodreads challenge that I wanted to read 45 books this year, and I got to 30, which is good. 30 was my goal last year, and I didn't quite make it. I actually got to 29. I think I counted, it was like halfway through the 30th book, so I counted it for last year, so I met the challenge, but really finished it this year. So I just thought I'd go through those books, just really briefly on each of them, how many stars I gave them, and some of the ones I enjoyed more I might elaborate on. So that's the plan. Hopefully next year I can hit that 45 mark. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first book I read is called Am Libya by Phyllis T. Smith, and I got this from one of the Kindle First, where you kind of can get them for free when, they send out an email once a month. And so I got that one. It's like a historical fiction type book around the time of Julius Caesar, and I thought it was really good. I listened to it on audiobook, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Definitely interesting, different from a lot of the other things I read. But it was a really good story. It's kind of from a woman who's from a political family and gets married, and like kind of the role she plays and all of that. Alright, the next one is The Titan's Curse. It is the 3rd one in Percy Jackson. Sea of Monsters, which is the 2nd one, was actually the one that I kind of really finished that first week in January. But yeah, so I finished Sea of Monsters. What's the Labrynth one called? The Battle of the Labrynth or something, and then I don't know, I can't remember what the other ones are called. Totally, yeah. Well, I finished the 3, 4, and 5 for Percy Jackson. Gosh, I have no idea what they're called. And they were awesome. Loved them. Give them all 5 out of 5 stars. I just thought the whole series was really good. I thought it ended really well. So if you haven't picked up that series, definitely do. Even if you think it's too young for you, I'm 31 and I enjoyed this series. It's meant for 12-year-olds, so, okay. Next book I read is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and this one I also listened to an audiobook. I thought this book was phenomenal. I hadn't ever read it before, but I heard good things about it, and I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, and then I read a nonfiction book. It's called A Mind for Numbers, and it's like how to excel at math and science, but I'm like math and science, and I was always good at math and science, but the book in general isn't just about that. It's kind of about learning and how we learn best, and ways to do well when you're taking a class, or just kind of learn things so that you remember them and you've actually learned it and aren't just shoving it in your short-term memory for a test. So I thought that was really helpful if you are a student or struggle with any particular subject, or just like to take classes for fun. I would recommend it. And that one is by Barbara Oakley. And then the next one I read is Delirium. I actually read Delirium and Pandemonium this year. I loved them both. I thought Delirium, it took a little while to build the world and really get into it. But then once it got going, I loved it. Pandemonium, again, I loved how that one, I don't want to, since it is a series, I don't want to give too much away, but Pandemonium was kind of told in a, here's what's happened now, here's what happened then, and so then you finally, they meet. And so I thought that was really good and really well done. So both of those, 5 out of 5 stars for Delirium, and I think I gave Pandemonium 5 out of 5 stars as well. Okay, the 4th Percy Jackson is Battle of the Labrynth. I was right. Okay, next book I read was City of Glass, which is the third in the Mortal Instruments series. I really, really liked that one. I liked City of Bones better than the second one, but City of Glass I liked even more than this. So what's the second one called? City of Bones, City of Ashes. So I liked City of Bones better than City of Ashes, but I also liked City of Glass better than City of Ashes. Probably liked City of Glass better than City of Bones as well. So it's my favorite one so far. I'm reading them in order, so I'm actually in the middle of Clockwork Angel, which is the Infernal Devices series. So I will go back to finish Mortal Instruments once I've done that. Okay, next book was Where She Went, which is the sequel to If I Stay. And I thought it was good. I thought it did a good job of tying up the ends of If I Stay. I didn't like it as much as If I Stay, but I thought it was good to have that like kind of complete the story and make you feel like, okay, I've, like it's tied up now. Okay, next one was Scarlet, which is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. I loved it. I think that series is awesome. Cress is on my next to read, so I'm gonna read Clockwork Angel and then I'm gonna read Cress. And then Winter, because Winter just came out. But yeah, so dive into that series if you haven't already. Okay, then I read Queen of the Tearling. I listened to this on audiobook as well. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This one is by Erika Johansen. I thought it was really good. There is a sequel called The Invasion of the Tearling, which I do want to read. And we'll see where it's heading. I thought the world is just different. I mean, part of it seemed kind of modern, but then part of it seemed like it was, like historic. Like it seemed like it, they didn't took place like in the past, kind of, but then it was like after our civilization. Like I don't know, it's kind of weird to place it time-wise, but I thought it was really good. My Goodreads keeps my battery's dying, so it won't stay on very long. Okay, then I read the whole series of the Paper Magellan trilogy. So it's the Paper Magician, the Glass Magician, and the Master Magician. And I listened to all these on audiobook. I love them. I did them. I never really marathoned a series. I marathoned this one. I thought they were really good, really interesting premise where you can be a magician and study being a magician, but you have to pick one. You can only bind to one object. It has to be a man-made substance, and there's only 5 different things that you can, or 6 different things that you can, bind yourself to. And then once you bind yourself to that, you can't bind yourself to any other type. So you can work with paper, or you can work with metal, or you can work with rubber. And so I just thought that was a really cool premise, and I thought the series was really well done. Next I read Legend by Mary Lou. I absolutely love that. I have the second 2 books in the series on my Kindle and I want to read them. Hopefully I can get them on audiobook. I tend to do a lot more reading audiobook when I'm driving, so yeah, loved that. 5 out of 5 stars. The Last Olympian, that was the last book, the last Percy Jackson book. Okay, so I got that one. And then I read Virals, which is the first book in the Viral series by Kathy Reichs. And her son Brandon, and she's the one that writes the Bone series that became a TV show. So I love that TV show. I haven't read any of her books. This was the first one, but I thought it was good. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was good. It was entertaining. I might read the second one if I can get it on audiobook, but I wasn't so hooked in that I can't wait to read them. But it was good. Then we have Paper Towns by John Green, which just 5 out of 5 stars. Phenomenal book. Just loved it. Now the next one I have on here for my challenge is actually a children's book that I was reading during the Cramathon, and so it was I just put it in there to get however many books. So it's called The Paper Princess. It's actually really cute if you have a little kid. It's just a storybook. Okay, then I have Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling. It's kind of like a autobiography type story. Fabulous. She's awesome. Love it. It's just hysterical. So if you like her type of comedy, it's just really funny. Okay. Then I have The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. This is the third one in the third one in the Robert Langdon series. Thought it was really good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I like it. I love Dan Brown books, so awesome. We have The Unbecoming of Dyer. I also gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I cannot wait to read the second one. I have it. The second one is the Retribution of Dyer. I think that's the second one. So I can't wait to read that one. And then I started the Heroes of Olympus series by Riordan, which is kind of like that after Percy Jackson in the same world series, The Lost Heroes. I read that one, listened to it on audiobook, loved it. Can't wait for the other ones to come out on audiobook to listen to them as well. Then I had a bunch of standalones. The Book Thief, 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love books set in World War II. Love that this one was set from perspective of people in Germany and Germans and people there that weren't necessarily like in the Nazi Party and how they dealt with it. I thought that was really awesome. Just loved everything about that book. And then Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Again, I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. Phenomenal book. Kind of dark and twisted and just really entertaining. And I have The Unimaginable by Dina Silver. This is good. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Just like a contemporary story. Girl goes up in the Midwest and wants to see the world and goes to Thailand and has these adventures. And then this like really traumatic event happens. So I would recommend that if you like that type of book. And then Pandemonium, like I said. And then the next is Rain by Chanda Han. And it's the 4th book in her Unfortunate Fairy Tale series. And this series is one that I just kind of like read when I need something short. I listened to this one on audiobook. They're just like, she's a descendant of the Grimm brothers, and so she is like put under this curse, and so it's kind of like that dark fairy tale where she's like forced to live through these fairy tales, but not as we know them, as like the dark twisted versions of them as they were originally written. So that was good. Then I read the 2 books, they're companion novels, Between the Lines and Off the Page. I actually read Off the Page first because I didn't realize that the 2 were, I didn't realize that I knew they were companion novels, but I didn't realize that Between the Lines actually happened first, or I probably would have read that first. And so I really liked Off the Page. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Between the Lines I thought was good. I only gave it 3 out of 5. I think I probably would have liked it more if I would have read it first. But I feel like I learned so much about what happened in that story from reading the next one that it wasn't all that exciting when it happened in the story. So yeah, I enjoyed them both. I would, even though it's not like a book and a sequel, I would read it as if it's that. So read Between the Lines first and then Off the Page. But they were both very entertaining. Different take on fairy tale. And then the most recent one I've read is The Winter's Curse by Maria Rutkowski. And I thought that was awesome. I thought the world was really fun. This like political turmoil. I thought she set it up really well. Made you really feel for the characters. And so I can't wait to continue with that series. I think it's a trilogy. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one as well. And so that's all I've read so far. I am in the middle of Clockwork Angel. And that's the only one I'm currently reading. I may finish that by the end of the year, I may not, depending on how much reading I get done over Christmas. But yeah, so that's all the books I've read this year. I will either put the names on the screen, which you would have already seen by now, or I will link them or write them all out down below so you can see them. If I didn't say the author or you didn't catch the name. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed Vlogmas. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And leave a comment below with your book recommendations so I can see them and know what I need to be reading next. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye!